Nah, but that enclosure, that tarantula enclosure, it might actually be really good for this next one that I wanted to check out, which is the giant millipede. I've actually always wanted to get one of these. But, since the opportunity to get the enclosure for free for like a gecko, came up, it's kind of like, well, I kind of gotta go for the gecko now, right? But these, like, one of these or one of those, like, tarantula enclosures, that would be really sick.
Well, hi there. Not long ago, we did a video about giant centipedes. Why? Because they're awesome and I wanted to use the word toxicognaths. Centipedes are, pound for pound, one of the most terrifying creatures on the planet. Well, the good news. They have a cousin. And it's a real sweetheart. Millipede.
Yeah, these things are freaking cool. The giant millipede is so freaking amazing. Look at it, it's so cool.
Have a lot in common with their horrifying cousins. Like centipedes, they have a body plan consisting of a head and many trunk segments. Like centipedes, they have legs coming from each segment that allow the animal to walk using a gait called a metachronal wave. They also have a pair of antennae coming from their heads and breathe via a system of tubes called a tracheal system that delivers air directly to its cells. So, what's the difference? First,
that means it freaking breathes using everything on its body.
Starters,
I think.
They lack toxicognaths. However, they still give you an
Frick
opportunity
is a toxicognath.
to talk about toxicognaths, since you get to tell people that they do not have toxicognaths. And instead of one pair of legs per segment, they have 2 pair of legs per segment. They also feed primarily on vegetation and detritus, decomposing things instead of live animals. But, like their cousins, they come in sizes ranging from very small to about 1 foot in length. This little beauty is one of those giants. At least it will be in a couple of years. But is the giant millipede a good pet? And is it the best excuse to talk about toxicognaths for you? To help you sort
Nah, I want one of these. Like, that. This is like the perfect, like, all it needs for you to do is leave a bunch of dead things in its cage, and it's like happy. Like, just throw a bunch of dead leaves, dead, like, decomposed stuff, you know what I'm saying? Dead bugs.
this out. We've scored the giant millipede based on
I love it.
our
It's cool.
5 categories,
Bro's
which
just
are
chill.
handleability,
Just big chillin'.
care, hardiness, availability, and upfront costs. When it comes to handleability, we give the giant millipede a score of 4 out of 5. These are so pleasant to handle, and they demonstrate exactly why I didn't even touch the centipede. Each of these legs, which number nowhere near 1,000, are so extremely grippy. If you made this animal way faster, and these same grippy legs, and 2 more that deliver a horrific venomous death kick, this would be a nightmare.
Yeah, it would
However,
not let go, bro. That thing's
It doesn't
terrifying.
have that death kick. They are nice and slow and deliberate and pleasant, and they are just...
But they're like super poisonous though, right? Or like they have like, they like secrete acid or something like that, I think it was.
wonderful creatures. Really, stressing the animal and risk to injury for the animal are the only reasons not to handle these. They are just wonderful. And that metachronal wave is simply mesmerizing up close. Wow.
It's so
When
pretty.
it comes to care, we give the giant millipede a score of 4 out of 5. The biggest thing with the care of these millipedes will be keeping them hydrated. Like centipedes, their tracheal system and lack of a waxy cuticle leaves them quite susceptible to desiccation, which means drying out. Funny enough, I learned the word desiccation as a kid from the back of a can of turtle food that contained desiccated liver. I then
What the
needed to
frick?
look up this word in a dictionary, for Googling it was not yet a thing. I also
You were feeding your freaking turtle desiccated livers? What the frick? Huh?
learned from the back of a can of Spam Light that mechanically separated chicken is a thing, and that it can't simply be referred to as chicken on a label. Anyway, back to preventing desiccation. You're going to need a
Really? If the chicken is separated mechanically, it can't be labeled the same as just chicken? Okay.
deep substrate that contains a lot of organic matter and can also hold considerable amounts of moisture. Never let that substrate become dry, or you can begin searching for the desiccated corpse of your millipede. As I mentioned
Yeah, so you pretty much do want like, you probably do want a decent amount of cocoa fiber in there.
Before, their substrate should contain wood, not pine or cedar, and leaves like old oak leaves, as well as other non-toxic organic materials for them to munch on. They love that. Include some cuttle bone as a source of calcium. This is literally the
Cuttle bone is like super easy and cheap to get. It's like $3, or you can get a whole pack on Amazon, like in bulk. The same thing you can give to your birds. I give cuttle bone.
And you can usually buy them for birds and at most pet stores. We'll have links to all these things down in the description. They also enjoy a lot of other foods such as vegetables and fruits, as well as prepared diets and small amounts of meat.
I like that. So you could like give it your leftover salad, your leftover like fruits, salad.
Enclosure should favor ground space, but provide enough space for very deep substrate. And they do like to climb, so provide cork and other mold-resistant branches on which they can climb. So mostly ground space, but also some room up higher. And I'd recommend a tightly fitting lid, as they can push through small gaps, especially if they've got climbing branches and whatnot. And they can reach pretty high because they can get to be about a foot long. That's huge. Make sure that lid allows for adequate ventilation. Since the enclosure will be so damp, it's easy for it to get really stagnant. Definitely make sure there's plenty of ventilation. They do really well at normal room temperature, generally speaking. If your house gets extremely cold and you need more heat, do not place a heat mat on the bottom of the enclosure. The reason that I'm saying this is because they burrow down in order to escape the heat. And so if your heat mat's on the bottom, it's going to get hotter as they get deeper, and they're not going to be able to understand what's going on, and you could end up cooking your millipede. So
I think that's also true for like most lizards, right? As well?
If a heat mat is necessary, make sure you place it on the side of the tank and use a thermostat. And this should be reserved only for very special cases where your house gets extremely cold. A shallow water bowl is also important to help avoid that whole desiccation thing. I'd like to take a moment just to say thank you to our rad fans and stinkin' rad fans at Patreon. As you notice, we always show the names of our stinkin' rad fans in the credits. They kind of look like credits, but it's actually the names of our stinkin' rad fans that help us improve this channel so much. You'll notice there's some really cool macro photography in this video, and that macro lens was covered by our patrons at Patreon. Thank you. When it comes to hardiness, we give the giant millipede a score of
look at the wave on the leg, that's so cool!
Imports can suffer from normal import problems. But to be perfectly honest, if something is going to kill your millipede, it will probably be something that starts with a D and rhymes with Californication. When it comes to availability, we give the giant millipede a score of 2 out of 5. The true giants are no longer imported. Certainly not in the numbers that they were in the past. And honestly, this is a very good
declassification. Bam, got it. Took me a minute.
For their wild populations. The giants are still available, but
so if the government declassifies this insect, it'll murder it. Damn.
You're going to need a captive bred baby. And they're not common. They're super cool, and thus they're fairly expensive to get. This one happens to come to us from Animal Ark in Orem, Utah, and they carry a whole lot of really rad arthropods. But on top of that, awesome reptiles, amphibians, fish, mammals, avian reptiles, and recently they've started carrying and expanding their selection of amazing tropical plants.
How much do they charge for that one though?
Rad varieties of plants that I've never seen before, like this variegated Monstera delicosa. I love that. It's one of my favorite plants, and I'd never seen a variegated one before. Super cool. And they've got things maybe even cooler than that. So if you're in the market for rad plants, check them out. We'll have links down in the description.
How much do they charge for the millipede
though? Is a giant millipede. You can go to Animal Ark. You can also find them online from breeders. Sometimes they'll be at expos. They're rare at pet shops, but obviously it does happen. When it comes to upfront costs, we give the giant millipede a score of 4 out of 5. The millipede itself anymore will probably be the biggest single cost. The enclosure is fairly cheap. The substrate, you're going to need a lot of it. It takes several different ingredients, but you can make a lot for not a whole lot of money. You're going to need a little water bowl. It's not going to cost a lot. Even their food, which doesn't factor into this, that can come largely from scraps of things you're eating. So they're really fairly cheap to keep. And that's awesome. The biggest cost is just that the millipede.
Like I said, we eat a lot of fruit and a lot of vegetables, salads here. So it's like all those little extra scraps and bits and pieces. especially the parts that are like, you know how you have like the little like extra bits that you chop off, like when you chop in a salad, like that's like already partially decomposed, so to speak. Like the ends of the salad, the ends of the lettuce on like a romaine, you can give that to it.
Themselves are fairly expensive anymore.
Right, because don't they like the rotted, they like the decayed food a little bit?
A score of 3.2 out of 5. Millipedes are like finding out that the monster under your bed has a cute little cousin that likes to eat watermelon and give hugs to strangers that are having a bad day. So if what you want is a cute little detritus-eating leg monster that can desiccate as fast as you can say toxicognaths, then the giant millipede might be the perfect pet.
I want it so badly.
As always, like and subscribe, and we hope to see you real soon.
Now, not only do I want it, I want it with that tarantula enclosure that we saw. The company tarantula, not an actual tarantula. This is freaking scary. I don't like tarantulas. They're scary. Scary looking. But I like the one that you showed in the cave gecko video that was sponsored. That would be a really cool one for this one. And like you wouldn't necessarily need to have a wide, like a wide one. You would just need it to be deep, so it had like plenty of space to like burrow into.
All snout.
It's so cool, bro. I want one so bad.
Snout. Blend it all out.
Like I'm telling you, if I didn't have this this like aquarium that I got for free, this would be the pet I'd be going for right now. I want it. I want it.
This
I want
is
it.
the slurry I could do.
It's like the perfect pet tool for a streamer, because like all you gotta give it is like your excess salad. You know what I'm saying? Like and it could just sort of chill. It could just sort of chill in its cage all day, all night. You don't really gotta worry about it. Go in there, you know, play with it, give it some fruit salad. Go to go get it some like honeydew or something, you know, have a good little watch it eat, put a little camera, a little time lapse so you can see how it eats the salad, the little fruit, little honeydew. Oh, that'd be cool.
Without, come on. Toxicognaths. I want to.
Bro, it's like every time I learn a brand new word from the dictionary, I'm like, oh hell yeah, bro! I'm about to learn. I'm about to show everybody how educated I am. Ooh. Phenomenal video by Clint. Reptiles, please go drop him a like, go drop him a sub, all that good stuff. Phenomenal video. Links, as always, are in the description, down below if you're watching on the VODs, and in the Discord if you're here live. Ayoo, Monodachis! Thank you so much for watching this video. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You can also find links to the videos that we reacted to today down in the description below, along with my Oshi marks. I'll see you in the next video, Monos. Goodbye, and thank you so much for swinging by. Salut!